As many people know, I love the old movies, and that's why it's been wonderful to share so many of my sort of picks and favourites with you, because then you kind of think, oh right, and then you would sort of tell me about another movie, and it all sort of escalates from there. There are films, aren't there, that literally just stay in your mind, particularly because I think when you're younger, and it must have been like this when you went to the cinema in the golden era of Hollywood, that you thought, wow, that was a terrific film, and you must have talked about it on the way home, or you saw your favourite stars with the big cutouts in the foyer. It was far more exciting, wasn't it? By the time the movies came around for my generation, I remember things like, well, not actually being able to go and see them because too young, believe it or not, but Saturday Night Fever and Grease. And they were like the big events, there was Jaws, but again, too young to go and see that. But those are the things that really stick in your mind, aren't they? Of course, when you see a movie on TV, I don't know about you, but particularly if you are in the area of where that movie was shot, you kind of always looking around and thinking, wow, was that, oh, right, is that what was there then, and that sort of stuff. This is really what captivated me about this particular movie that I wanted to share with you. It's from 1952 and it's called Escape Route. Oh yes, and really it's a brilliant movie, not only because it has the excellent actor and one of my all-time favourites, George Raft, in the title role, but also the beautiful Sally Gray too. I'll come back to her in a moment. But what's really captivating about this is, by the time that George came to make this movie in the early 50s, things had sort of fallen off in the Hollywood stakes. The big RKO years had gone away. Lucille Ball was just about to buy that studio and turn that into a television wonderland. And George was sort of looking around for things to do. Over in England, he was still a big star and he thought he could make some money. The problem was that this particular movie wasn't a major studio. In fact, it was a very tiny studio, as was the production team behind it. But having George Raft meant they could secure a little bit more money. But as I said, what's great about this is just take in all the sights of London, because this was filmed naturally a few years on from the war. So in 1952, you would have thought, well, it might have looked a little bit better. Oh no, we still see all the bombed out sites and everything like that. And really, when you're looking at it and thinking, wow, those entire houses have now been replaced and, all that sort of stuff. And obviously George, still looking debonair and still giving a stellar performance, really carried the movie forward. It's a brilliant film noir that is very captivating, even though, as I often say, they did this without CGI and green screen. They did it through sheer acting ability. Now, here's an interesting footnote to that particular movie, because it also stars a beautiful actress called Sally Gray. Now, Sally Gray had very much a title connection. She'd married a baron in 1951. Oh yes, and really, she was a titled lady, no two ways about it. But apparently she kept all of this secret because she just wanted her acting to sort of take it forward and not really be, using a title or a name. Imagine how different that was in 1952, right? So what happened? The movie came out in 1952 and did reasonably well, but it could have done better. You see, a year later, Sally, alongside her husband, the Baron, well, they were invited to the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. And apparently George Raft really had no idea just how well connected she was. And when he found it out, he sent her a telegram saying, think of how much more we could have made at the box office if we'd have said you were that well connected. That's Hollywood for you, right? It's just wonderful to know though, isn't it? As I say, this was a successful film for George Raft and something of a comeback in a different style and genre. But if you've never seen Escape Route, stick with it to the end, because the ending is pretty brilliant. And the way that they twist and weave the plot definitely will have you reaching for more popcorn. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular movie. And please, if you can, like, share and comment respectfully. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.